All right. Welcome in, Ricky and Kim. Thanks for joining us live. And I'm sure a lot of people are tuning into this recording. So we are continuing on our series of Beyond Portals and focusing on Meta or Facebook ads, as might be more familiar to some folks. And this is part three of our four-part series. So today is all about the actual design of the ad using an app, which Jared's become really familiar with, Canva. I'm sure there's other ways to do it, but this is just going to walk you through easy steps to create that ad, make it look professional, presentable, and attract the type of candidates you're looking for. So with that, Jared, I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it. So let's dive right in. Um, Thanks, ladies, for hopping on, and we'll this is again week three's continuation of the previous 2 weeks. If you haven't seen or listened to week one and two, you need to go back and do that, especially week two, and kind of because now this builds on what we talked about last week. Today we're talking about creating graphics that convert. This one's not going to take very long today. This is not going to be a slow step by step all the way through everything. This is going to be a 30,000 foot high level view of how to create and maybe some concepts, some ideas for you of to how to create the graphic, what the people are actually going to see, the visual that's going to go with your ad copy. And then the main thing is making sure your ad copy from last week and what you're creating and following this training that they go together, that they are both speaking the same language or just they are building each other up, right? They go together. Okay, so this is how to create graphics that convert. So we're going to today learn how to design three simple ad graphics, three of them at least. You can create more if you want, but I want you to create three simple ad graphics using Canva that grab attention. There's so many different ways to do ads. You see it all the time when you're scrolling on your own timeline. You guys see a bunch of different kinds of ads, a lot of videos, right? You see things called carousels where you can kind of swipe through multiple pictures at once. All we're doing is we're creating an ad that's just going to be one static image. That's all we're doing. Okay. And so it's going to be pretty basic, but it's going to be enough to get you up off the ground running. So here's why this matters. Because pictures speak louder than words. You've heard the old adage, and it is 100 times more accurate when it comes to social media and the internet. The imagery of what somebody sees, colors, shapes, pictures, concepts all draw and stir up feelings deep within the mind of every human based on their previous experiences, based on their upbringing, based on their current situations life, based on their education knowledge, everything within that makes up a person. All of these images can stir it up, just like music can do that very same thing. Images can speak louder than words. And this is also another thing is that people stop scrolling not because of your copy. Now, your ad copy, from what we talked about last time, highly important. But the only reason it's highly important is because your graphic is really good. People stop scrolling on their timeline because they something you created, the visual catches their eye, not the text, not what you wrote. Now, how this why this all this matters is because your graphic is going to lead people to your text. So that's why your ad copy has to be spot on, because you're going to catch them, you're going to get them to stop scrolling from the visual. And then once you do, you better be able to captivate them and keep their attention with your ad copy. Okay. But it all starts with this graphic. That's why this matters. So let's kind of talk before we really switch over and look at Canva, which is what I use. I need you to, before you approach Canva, before you approach designing your graphic, here's what you need to start with. Okay. You need to ask these questions first, and really not just ask, but you need to answer these questions first. And it'll be really helpful. And it's going to save you a lot of time to spend time answering these questions before you start creating anything. Number one, and this is all about the vision of what you're trying to create. Ask these questions first. Who is your audience? Okay. Think back to your copy from last week. We talked about your intended audience, who you're trying to shoot for. Think about the ideal client, your ideal candidate. That is your target audience. Okay. So you need to be clear on who that is, who you're trying to attract. What current career or path are they on that they're coming from? What is their maybe basic age range? What is their all those kinds of things. Think about that. Who are you trying to capture? What will then be your hook to capture them? So your hook, what's the catchy, that eye popping, the thing that's going to make them stop scrolling, The thing they're going to see, they're going to go, "Ooh, what is that?" That's maybe even subconsciously, it's gotten them to stop, draw their attention, even for just a few seconds. That's really all you get on social media. What are those things that are going to make them stop their scroll? Maybe even think about it this way: what are the things that have helped, that have gotten you to stop? Maybe you've never thought about that before, but next time you're on Facebook, try to pay attention to the things that you find yourself looking at a little longer than other things, and try to think of, why is that? What about this imagery, about this video, about the way this ad started? What is it that really was popping, was eye catching, that really drew me in? And try to capture that, write those notes down on paper, and maybe think about copying that or reiterating that in your own graphic or whatever that might look like. So, and then what do you want them to do? So just like your ad copy needs to lead them to do something, to take an action, whether that is click on this link to set up a schedule for us to set up a time for us to meet on your calendar, or whether it's, hey, go click on this link to go fill out a competence questionnaire to see if you qualify today, or hey, send us a DM and we'll reach out to you. It needs to get them to do something. Same thing with the graphic. A lot of times you want the graphic, you need to know what the action is that you're wanting them to take, so that way your graphic can also communicate that. Not necessarily in not every ad you create, but a lot of times, if all they're going to see is the visual and they're never going to read your ad copy, you may want to consider um, including what that next step is in the graphic you're creating. And then here's another thing we kind of already hit on a little bit, is what do you want them to feel? What do you want them to feel? Maya Angelou, I think, is famous for being saying people never remember um, how much you know. They only remember how you made them feel. They never hear something like that. It's like people never remember what you said. They only remember how you made them feel. And it's true, because people make decisions based on emotion. Even high net worth, highly successful people, they're still emotional people. Humanity can't escape that. Every single person is a emotional creature. Some just handle it and respond to it differently, but that doesn't mean that they're not emotionally driven in a lot of ways. Your message should, what you're creating, this graphic should drive your creative, not the other way around. Okay. So what you're creating should kind of, you're thinking it should well up something within them. Okay. And so, what should your graphic, what should that really, what are you trying to induce? What kind of feeling are you trying to induce? Last question then, what are some initial ideas that you have? Maybe even just spend a little time on a sketch piece of paper, writing some ideas down of some ads that you've seen or you can kind of come up with, and maybe what you'd like to create or something similar to that. That'll help you, give you some direction as you go toward this. Okay. My other suggestion here is don't recreate the wheel. Okay. Again, look at what others you've seen others do, even big brands. What are they doing? They're huge for a reason. They know how to run ads. So maybe there's something in what they're doing that you can kind of replicate. Okay. And so I think Russell Brunson over at ClickFunnels calls it funnel hacking, where it's just, hey, go find the ones that are already doing it successfully and kind of replicate those ideas, those concepts, those images. Same idea here. Okay. Don't feel like you have to recreate the wheel and you got to be the most creative designer or person out there. All right. So let's
There,
dive into Canva. Yeah, go ahead.
above, when you said like include the action item in the image, do you mean like
Yeah.
having a little emblem that says click on the assessment below in the image itself,
Yep.
not in the
It's a good
actual
example.
ad? Verb.
Yep. Yep, that's a great example. Like something very simple, like click to connect, or click the assessment below, like you just said, or
Okay.
schedule a call today. Something like that would be good. And I'll show you. We'll kind of set that up on the screen too in just a second. So let's talk about Canva. Now you have two options when it comes to Canva. You have you can start with just a free account, but I highly, highly, highly recommend paying for the pro account. I don't believe it's much. At the time of this recording, it's like 12 or 15 bucks a month, something like that. It's not something crazy. But it gives you so many more abilities and things you're able to do with your graphics. Okay. And because, especially if you might use this for more than just creating ads, like genuinely, I use Canva every day. Now, I've been using it since it came out like a decade ago. So I've been doing it a long time. And so there's a lot that I've learned about it. It's changed a lot over time, but I've learned things, and so I'm very familiar with it. So it's going to be quicker for me to do some of this stuff than it will be for you guys starting out. But I can't recommend enough paying for it and just figuring out ways to use it. I use it for every single one of my presentations. Anytime I present the brands, I create those presentations via Canva. I create for all of my social media posts. Anything I'm going to post inside my Facebook group or inside our Facebook page, I use it for email marketing. The graphics we need for inside the emails we're going to be blasting out, I create things in there. I've created freebies, like I've created a free ebook I've given away inside Canva. I've created a slide deck that I give to an individual, like quickly explains who we are and what we do that you can send in via LinkedIn messaging. There's so many different ways in which you can use Canva. I don't think you can go wrong by just getting the pro account. Okay. And it's also a beautiful thing because you don't need to be a designer. I am not in any way a graphic designer, nor do I ever claimed that, nor do I even think I'm very good at it. If it wasn't for Canva, I would be completely lost. I would have no idea or have my website would not look at all what it looks like, which I feel like it's where I want it. Anything that I've ever created, it's just I would have no idea. I'd be lost. I'd be using clip art from like 1990s. Okay. So the beautiful thing is you don't need to be a designer to use it. So now let's then switch over and kind of give you a overview, a walkthrough of Canva. Okay. Now, when you switch over to the main screen, this is what it's going to look like. Okay. This is the home page. I kind of just want to give you a couple things that you'll notice right away. You'll notice at the very top, you have your search bar. And this is where you can start by just whatever you want to create. You can type anything in there. And so you could type in Facebook ad even, and it'll pop up either previous things that you have already designed, or you can switch to templates and it'll show you some templates along the field of what you just searched as well. So it's very, very intuitive. You can also look right here. It's going to give you some of the popular things people are already using Canva for, whether it's to create YouTube thumbnails, which is one thing I use this for my YouTube channel. You can create sheets and Word documents out of it. You can just set up a blank whiteboard that multiple people can work off together. I do a lot of my presentations I did for conference. I created all that and some of that out of here. Social media, anything on Instagram, to any kind of social media platform, they have different, all the different things you need for it. You can edit photos. You can even do video now on here. You can create videos on Canva. I mean, and the list goes on. And there's even 3 dots. You can select more and look at all their options. Okay. Over here on the left side of the main page, once you spend some time getting this set up, you can actually teach Canva who you are and everything about your company. So for example, I've already done this, but over on the left side as a pro feature, you can give it all of your brand information, which is going to save you a lot of time. So when you come in here and you go into brands, brand kit, you can see, as for me as an example, everything about my company. FranOps, I have all of my logos already added in here that then Canva already knows I can pull up easily when I want to include these into future graphics. It knows my colors that I like to use. It has all of the fonts that I have set. We use Gotham. And so that's it. It's got all those. It understands my brand voice. And so I've typed this in so it understands the kind of graphics I like to create that speaks well to who our company is trying to be. A lot of photos that I've taken that I use a lot for different graphics. So I've added these already. So you can set all this up in here. It's going to save you a lot of time. Once you teach Canva, just like AI, because it very much so uses AI in different ways, but you can teach it a lot of those things. Okay. And they're continuing to develop their own AI platform as well in here. I haven't messed with this feature much, but you can literally teach it how to just type in some things and have it create a graphic for you. It's crazy. Okay. But today we're not going to do that. I wouldn't even call it cheating. I would just say learn how to do that. And if you can, that'd be great. So, anyway, let's kind of dive in, and talk about how to create our graphics. I want you guys to do, I want you guys to create 3 graphics and they all need to be different. Okay. Here's how you do this. You're going to click on social media. This is where we're going to start. Again, there's thousands, if not tens of thousands of options here. I'm just showing you one. All right. Keep that in mind. You have freedom to do this however you want, but click on social media and then I want you to click on this, the third option in social media, or you can do the landscape. Both of these will work well on Facebook. Social media as a square, 1080 times 1080, or the Facebook post landscape 940 by 788. I'm going to click on the square, 1080. Okay. And it's going to, this is the framework, the metrics of which I want to create within. Now, on the left side, it's going to show you different templates that you can use and adapt for your own purposes. Okay. It's going to show you all these different popular ones that either people have used or just it's got hundreds of templates already pre-designed for you. Some of them are video based already. We're going to stay away from video for right now because I want you to just do a static graphic. But if you were to come back here before I click on social media, you can even scroll down and see all of these templates down here. Now we're going to do this quickly. I told you we would create one live, so that's what we're going to do. Let's just take the very first one. I want you to spend more time on this week, but we're going to do this quickly so you can get an idea and a feel of really what this could look like quickly. Okay. As I've just randomly selected this very first graphic, there's a lot all you need to do now is just turn this into your purposes. So going back to the things you've already created, those questions you've answered, you'll have a vision of what you're wanting to create. So maybe for this graphic, remember attaching it to our ad copy, what we're selling in this graphic is our consulting services, right? So you're trying to communicate to others that you are a franchise consultant and you want to work with them to help them find their right franchise. So then all of everything on the graphic needs to happen accordingly to that, right? So all you do is click on the text, okay, select all, and you can put whatever you want to do. If you want to make it a hook, a catchy phrase, like uh, find your next franchise today, okay, right? Something like that. Or you could even do a question. Ready to franchise your future. That's something that is similar, is part of my brand voice. I use that phrase, franchise your future, all the time. It's part of us. And then of course you have all the options to edit, all the text, everything up here. So spend some time doing that. You can even add effects to it with all different kinds of options. You can make it a glitch. You can kind of make it pop off the page a little bit. You can even make it a neon sign as well. I do this one a lot. And so it kind of just helps stand out a little bit. All right. Ready to franchise your future. All right. Makes sense so far. And then the rest of these things, all you need to do then, okay, let's change some of these languages to fit our purposes. Be your own boss, whatever it might be. Build generational wealth. What are some other things that people would be attracted to finding a franchise? What are some selling points for them?
Financial freedom.
Yeah, financial freedom. Um,
Build a legacy.
build a
Good
legacy.
one.
Yeah. Yeah. What's that, Ricky?
I said that was a good one.
Yeah, be at your kids' event. So like, okay, so now we've taken some time, maybe just make sure that the everything fits well. Give it another look, make sure it fits. Everything is laid out well according to how the eye works. Give it that eye test. Now, what I would do is switch out the graphic, of course. One of the common things I regularly use is elements here on the left side because it's got every literal element from things you've recently used to different kinds of shapes, to different graphics, to creating your own. You can even use AI to create your own image if you have something creative. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look for a photo to switch out this. Or you could even use that if you want, right? You could set this as the graphic you're going to use with your ad copy, whatever that might be. But for me, since I've already done photos of myself, what I do is I typically come to where I've set all my pictures. Okay. And I will put something else in here. Okay. I'll drop this in here. And then another great feature of Canva is just going to take some time for you to spend some time learning this, but called the background remover just automatically removes everything from that photo except for me. There you go. See?
Where's the background remover?
It's right here.
Oh, right.
Yep. Yep. Another way to get to the background remover, as well as find some of these other really sweet like AI hacks and stuff, would be to go to edit. So when you've clicked on the photo, go to edit. Then you're also going to see up here called Magic Studio, a number of different options for you as it relates to different needs that you might have. for the video. Okay, so you can even put pictures out here where you can just grab just the text off the picture. Or you can do a magic expand, which is kind of cool. Like it can literally look at your photo, and then if you want to expand it a little bit, it can like create more of what the image might be outside of the frame of the photo. It's amazing the capabilities that you have here. So, but again, that's going to come. My encouragement is just spend time on it. Okay, make sure everything is kind of set here. And then one thing we talked about too is making that Heath brought up was including kind of the next step. What is the call to action? So what I would do then is I would come over here to the left side where it says text, and you can drop extra text in here, maybe throw it to the bottom, and then whatever your call to action might be, click to qualify today, something like that. Okay. And then you can resize this to your own liking. Maybe you want it to appear more like a button rather than just that. So maybe you go to elements and type in button and then see what pops up under your graphics. You see all this stuff here. I like this one. This one will go around it well. So click on that, bring it down here and kind of turn this into a button of sorts. Okay. Makes sense so far. Again, I want you guys to spend way more time on this to make it look way better, but at least you get an idea of what we're talking about. Now,
Keeping
to
that
create
black
any
background.
questions on this so far? Yeah, Ricky, go ahead.
Are you keeping that black background like a door behind you?
This is a phone.
Oh, it's a phone.
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah,
right.
yeah. That's a phone. You don't have to. I can click on that and delete that. If you don't want it, I'll get rid of it for you, Ricky. There you go.
Oh, okay.
Boom. There it is. See what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay. So, from here, here's what you're going to do. You're going to create two more that look nothing like the previous one. Okay. Click on add page below. It's going to give you a blank slate. You're going to go over to design on the top left and you're going to start all over. Do something completely different. I will say this about pictures. If you're going to use a picture, choose one where someone is smiling. It doesn't have to be you. Like you don't need high quality photos like this to do graphics. If you prefer not to market yourself, that's totally fine. Most brands don't market their CEO anyway. Very few brands do that. And so it's kind of weird actually if they do, but with a consulting service, it's a little different. So it's okay to market yourself, but you don't have to necessarily. You can come over here, what it says photos, and search for something like business owner or franchisee or consultant and just pick a photo like this. You can click, drop that in there. Again, remove the background. It's going to save just her. I'm going to delete myself, add this person, and voila. Look at that. Just the main thing is people are drawn to smiles. It's eye-catching. It's a good hook. Make sure the person is smiling. Okay. And so we can go with that. The next one, all right. Click on the next photo, design, do it again. Again, my only encouragement is do something completely different. Okay. I just randomly chose another design. This one says, did you know? Well, let's change that to ready to own a franchise. And then maybe I can just keep this graphic here and I need to make my copy something similar. Like, did you know franchisees are typically happier, more fulfilled, and better people altogether?
Oh,
Of
right.
course, I wouldn't put any of that, but again, something like that, and you want to make sure that you again include some kind of call to action if that's what you want to go with in your ad. So I'm just going to copy what we already used, bring it down here, and paste it somewhere, and then kind of just reorganize where some of these things go so everything fits well. Okay, when you've looked at it and you're happy with the layout and what you might need to resize some of these things. I
How
tend
did
to
you
have
do your
OCD
call to
sometimes, so it's
action?
hard. Huh?
Jason, Jared,
Jared. Yep.
I called you Jason again.
It
Okay,
happens. All right.
the call to action, you did the
Mhm.
button, but where did you find that again? What is that under?
I just
Oh,
created all I did is I went to text over in the left
right,
side, and then I
right.
have a couple different options. Just click on one because it pops up a random text for you, and you can
Right,
just
right,
type in whatever, random text for Ricky, right?
right,
And
right.
then from there, all I did was to get this like this thing
Little
here,
button.
this
Yeah.
circular, I went to the elements area and I
Oh,
just
right.
typed in button,
Oh,
you
okay,
know.
fine. Right, right.
So this is going to be limited to just your mind of what you want it to be. Maybe you wanted
Right.
it to be more of a sticky note kind of thing. Search sticky note and you can throw that in there as well. I will say another feature here that's helpful to know is like, so notice when I put the sticky note here, it kind of gets rid of this circular shape in the background, right? That's because it just like in real life, these are set on layers. So like if I wanted this sticky note to be in the very back, you just click over here on position on the top right, and you can either send it backwards one layer so it goes behind an object, or I can send it all the way to the back and that's behind everything. Okay. So if I wanted to do something like this, I mean, I would never do this because this looks absolutely terrible to the eye, but you get the idea. Okay. And then do it one more time, come up with something completely different than the other two. Because what you're going to do, one thing is like this. This looks way different. Okay. You could even use that photo, keep it there, switch out some of these things, add in your own question or hook or phrase. I would not put your website, but a call to action there at the bottom. And then when you have all three, what you need to do, okay, we've talked through some of this. What you need to do then is review all of it. Go back through it again. Make sure the text, nothing is misspelled. Make sure nothing's out of alignment. Really kind of give it a final review, final edits, and then you'll download it. You download it by clicking share. Okay, now you're gonna have a few options here. Download will be in the bottom left. That's all you really need to worry about now. You don't need to worry about all these other, you can mess with these other features later. Okay. But for our purposes today, we're going to download. Now, when you download, you have a couple different options. Usually, if I'm doing multiple things at once, okay, I'll just leave it like this. You don't have to do anything special. If you're wanting to download just one of these pictures, you click right here, pages 1 through 3, and select just the one that you want. Maybe I just wanted two. You can do that too. Okay. But for our purposes, we will download all three. All right. Makes sense so far? Download it. Bada bing, bada boom. Now it's on your computer. Now, once we have all three of these, going to give it a second to download. We'll be able to then go over to Facebook and get ready for next week to put these into our ads. So really how this works, like as you notice, I'll show you some examples of some things I've done in the past. Like here's some ads that I've ran. Now my ads, my goal is to get leads, people from Facebook to join my Facebook group. So that's what my ads typically do is I'm trying to get them to join the group. So I've created 3 different kinds of ads, as you can see. One's got me smiling. 2, technically it's me, but it doesn't really need to be me. It could be whoever. It just represents kind of, hopefully I'm trying to represent some kind of professional and also just kind of top class kind of thing. And very simple. This one is opposite of this one where I have a lot more text on here. This time I went with very little text, just simple, short to the point. Join the leading Facebook group for elite entrepreneurs and empowered builders. Here I went back to a little more copy. And I put this very good looking female on there because I know that's going to be eye catching to a lot of people. She's smiling. What's this about? Franchise opportunities, big, bold, awesome. That's very clear on what this is. For elite entrepreneurs and empowered. Okay, tell me, what is this? Okay, join the community. Yeah, cool. I'll read the ad, see what it's about. That's really what we're going for. It's 3 completely separate. Even the colors are different. But trying to be something catchy because what you're going to do is you're going to take all 3 of these. And then next week, I'll show you this. Next week, we're going to set all this up. We're going to set up our campaign. I'm going to show you an example of what I've done before in this. Okay. So campaign down to my ad set level. And what I've done, as you can see, is maybe it's kind of small, but you can see I've set up 3 different ads. Each graphic has been attached to it represents a different ad. All 3 of these graphics have the same exact ad copy that we worked on. That's what you're going to do that we worked on last week. So that's why you need to really make sure your ad copy makes sense. It's clear because you're going to use the same ad copy 3 different times. That's what we're going to do next week. So make sure you're this week, make sure you have, you spend all the time on these. You have at least a week. Honestly, you're probably going to have more if you're doing this live than if you're watching this later time, because we're due in 4 days with a baby. So I can't promise I'll be on next Wednesday to
Oh
show you how to put it
gosh.
all together,
Right.
but I'm going to do my best. Okay. So anyway, spend some time working on this and putting it all together, and then make sure that it all goes together. Okay. Um, Here's some suggestions I have for you. Okay. Real quick, where did I put that? Okay. Let's talk about this real quick next week. Or did I skip over this? Okay, sorry. Real quick, suggestions for graphics. Here's some other ideas, concepts you can play with. Even use ChatGPT and help bounce ideas off of ChatGPT. See if it can give you new ideas as well. Here's some other suggestions of things you could do as far as the graphic goes. Maybe create one with a quote from a franchisee. It's a picture of a random person, and then it just says in quotes, "I replaced my corporate career with this franchise." Something like that. Maybe it's a one with your face, smiling, of course. It says, "Ask me how I can help you get into the right franchise." Maybe that's all it says. You know, Another one would be one with you can give away a free guide to franchise ownership or franchise discovery, or a free guide to changing your careers or whatever it might be. And then maybe do one that's kind of supposed to get a chuckle, one with a little humor in it, or intrigue. Tired of your boss yet? Kind of play into that kind of feel. So different concepts, different things you could do with your ads. Next week, we're officially going to be posting your very first ads. We're going to put all of it together. We're then going to talk about what metrics to track and how to track it, how to continue to track that over the next several weeks after you've posted it. And then also I'm going to end, if we have time, I want to end by a different kind of ad to market on Meta that you may be intrigued by as well. But here's what you need to do this week, okay, as you prepare for next week. Go back and make sure your ad copy is perfect. Okay. And then after you've created these 3 graphics, review and edit your copy and your graphics to make sure that they, one, go together. They work hand in hand. The copy is a complementary of the graphic and vice versa. They need to communicate what you want them to communicate. If there's a discrepancy, it's going to be if it's confusing at all, even if they have to stop and try to think about it a little bit, you're going to lose them. Make it clear, make it simple, make it communicate what we want it to communicate. Don't have any mistakes or errors. If in your graphic there's a spelling mistake, you're not going to get anybody. Okay, just make sure it's very clean. A tip for this is show these ads to somebody, one or two others, without explaining beforehand to them what you're trying to do. Don't even tell them you're creating ads for Facebook. Just show them the picture, ask them to read the copy, and just ask them if what they think they should be doing next, and just kind of see if it makes sense. If it's clear, simple to them. If not, go back to the drawing board, okay, and figure it out until iron it out until it is. So, all right, that's really all I got for you this week. Next week, I'm gonna put it all together. Any questions from you two ladies?
Yes.
Pretty
Have
simple.
you
Yeah,
found, sorry, Kim, go ahead.
go ahead.
Trying to unmute. Oh, no, I thought that was helpful. I don't think I really have any questions. I just kind of want to get in there and dig around and,
Yeah.
and practice with that a bit.
Yeah.
I was kind of looking at some of the things with carousels.
Yep.
And I guess that would just require a bigger strategy.
Mm-hmm.
So
Or just a different strategy. Carousels can be super helpful, especially if like the images tell a story as well.
mhm.
Or
I like
show
that.
like I've you could do one where you have a different graphic with each graphic is a review from one of your previous candidates you've worked with. And it's just a picture of them with some kind of quote. And then the next picture is a different candidate with another quote. And it just kind of shows. So, and there's so many different things you could do with that. But the idea for this is we are going to use 3 different graphics with the same ad copy, because we're going to first test over the next few days after we post these ads. We're going to test which graphic is working the best, because they're all going to
Yeah.
perform differently. And
Yeah.
so eventually next week, we're going to start by launching all 3 ads. And we're going to spend $5 to $10. We're going to put $5 to $10 a day on each one of those ads, all 3 of them. And then after 3 or 4 days, 3 to 5 days or so, it's going to be fairly clear if one of them is performing higher than the others. And whichever one is, we're going to shut the other two off and then put 10 to 50 bucks a day on the one that is working. That's really the strategy or the theory here.
Hey, one more question then. When
Yeah.
you use music in the back of any of these ads, do you have to get any kind of approval to do that or pay a license or any of that?
I would not use music that has copyright ownership on it. There's plenty of music out there for free. And also actually Facebook can add that for you. A lot of the graphics I've actually never posted an ad with music. But Facebook has just added it for me. I've seen my own ads on like Instagram and it's got music behind the background. Like, oh, that's kind of cool. It works out well.
Wow.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Have you
Thank you.
found there's a particular call to action that you find is more successful than others? Is that a silly question?
It just depends on your strategy. Mine is it's to reroute them to my Facebook group. And so that tends to work. Sometimes I just have to collect their info and then I email to them and then they join
Oh,
from the email. So it just kind of depends. I know we have some brokers who their call to action is to schedule calls directly to their calendar. And for the most part, it's that you know they've said it works for them. They have sometimes issues with ghosting and people not showing up, but for the most part, it works. You may prefer just having the call to action go straight to a qualification assessment or a confidential questionnaire. Because then if someone has gone that far where from your ad they're going to fill out a confidential questionnaire, I would assume they're probably a pretty quality lead. If they're going to do
yeah.
that just based off an ad.
I think
But
use a
you
lot of,
may need to like your call to action may need to have them routed to your website. And then the website leads them to see if they qualify today and fill out a kind of a funnel system of different pages. So, and that's very popular as well. So it just kind of depends on your strategy.
okay.
Yeah.
Right. Thanks
Again,
so
Ricky,
much.
don't be too overwhelmed with it because
Oh
what
no,
we're
I
in, what
won't.
we're in here is literally the testing phase, and you're going to be in
Right.
the testing phase for a
Right.
while. You're just going to need to test out different graphics, different ad copy, different call to action strategies, like we're talking about, until
Right.
you find kind of what works for a
Right.
while. Because even the thing that's going to work for a while is not going to work forever on Facebook. So it's just
Right.
a matter of playing the game.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, good luck. Hope everything goes well this week.
Yeah.
Hope
Yeah.
there's some
Thank
good
you
news.
kindly.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Exciting news.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right
That's good.
then. Yeah.
So,
See you,
Sounds
everybody.
good.
Yeah. Well, I
Hope
Thank
appreciate
everything
you
you.
goes
guys.
really well.
Thanks, guys.
All
So
Hey,
right.
much.
thank
Thanks.
you. Take